Continue discussing the female reproductive system. Starting with the puberty. Puberty means the onset of adult sexual life. The usual age of puberty ranging from 12 to 13 years. Many factors affecting the puberty. In addition to the age, genetic factors, nutritional, climatic, geographic factors determine the timing of puberty. Over the last 150 years, the age of puberty has declined by 2 to 3 months per decade. This pattern appears to correlate with the improvement of nutrition and general health in America and in the whole world. Also, leptin appears to have permissive effect on the initiation of puberty, providing the signal to the CNS that there are sufficient energy stores to support reproduction. Also, distance from the equator and lower altitudes are associated with early puberty. Obesity and heavy exercise delay puberty. Obesity, not overweight. Heavy exercise, not normal exercise. The pubertal growth spurt requires concerted action of sex steroid, growth hormone, and insulin-like growth factors. Sperm arrive in the vicinity of the ovum at random. Sperm remain mobile for up to 4 days. Their fertilizing capacity is about 2 days in the female reproductive system. Fertilization involves several steps. Recognition of the ovum by sperm occurs first. The next step is the regulation of the sperm entry into the ovum. 3. The pellucida zone contains specific glycoprotein that serves as sperm receptors. They selectively prevent the fusion of inappropriate sperm cells, for example, from different species with the ovum. Contact between the sperm and ovum triggers the acrosome reactions, which is required for sperm penetration. Pellucida zone, the sperm must undergo capacitation, an irreversible process that involves an increase in sperm motility, the removal of surface protein, a loss of lipids, and merging of the sperm with the ovum. Capacitation takes place along the female reproductive system and lasts 1 hour to several hours. Facilitates sperm transport through the female reproductive tract. First, uterine and cervical activity increases by spinal reflexes during orgasm. Second, the cervix dilates during orgasm. 3. Oxytocin release at the time of orgasm increases uterine contractility. 4. The mucus of the cervical increases movement of the sperms under estrogen dominance and orgasm. However, peristaltic activity and fluid flow in the oviduct assist transport. And this is the fallopian tubes, and this is the site of fertilization. Sperms, which they are introduced into the uterus, move towards the fertilization site, and also the zygote moves toward the uterus. You see the oviducts transport the germ cells in two directions. The sperms, as we said, ascend toward the ampulla, and the zygote descend toward the uterus. This requires coordination between smooth muscle contraction, ciliary movement, and fluid secretion, all of which are under hormonal and neural control. Don't forget the peristalsis movements or activity for the movement of the zygote from the fertilization site to the uterus. After about 7 days, implantation of the blastocyst occurs in the uterus, and this implantation requires interaction of the embryo with the uterine endometrium. Until implantation, the embryo is enclosed in the pellucida zone. Retention of intact zone is necessary for the embryo transport, protection against mechanical damage or adhesion of the oviduct wall, and prevention of immunological rejection by the mother. In pregnancy, the ovarian cycle as well as the uterine cycle stop. And after 2 weeks of the fertilization occurrence, the placenta develops. This produced placenta or formed placenta secretes a special hormone called luteinizing hormone or chorionic gonadotropin hormone. Under the effect of this hormone, the corpus luteum continues to grow. Continues to grow until it may come to occupy 30 to 50% of the total volume of the ovary, producing large amount of progesterone and estrogen. Corpus luteum reaches its peak at about 6 weeks after fertilization, falls off about 4 months. Then the placenta takes over the function of the corpus luteum. This hormone produced by the placenta as well as by the blastocyst, the mass of cells or the cell just before implantation. This hormone, the indicator of the pregnancy, this hormone tested after 2 weeks in plasma and in the urine to indicate the occurrence of the pregnancy. You see that these are the chemicals or substances secreted by the blastocyst, the mass of cells just before the implantation, the embryo. You see many substances, hormones, enzymes, proteins, and other chemicals. The human chorionic gonadotropin hormone is one of the most important of the factors secreted by trophoblast of the blastocyst, both pre-implantation and post-implantation. Besides rescuing the corpus luteum, this hormone, which is human chorionic gonadotropin, acts as an immunosuppressive agent, has growth promoting activity, and acts as autocrine growth factor that promotes trophoblast growth and placental development. Also, this hormone may have a role in the adhesion of the trophoblast to the epithelial cells of the endometrium. This hormone also, the human gonadotropin, has protein activity. The level of this hormone are high in the area where the trophoblast faces the endometrium. Other important targets of this hormone, human gonadotropin, are the fetal adrenal gland and testes. Factor of chemicals produces, as you see, many hormones, many proteins, enzymes, and all the female hormones, the steroid hormones. You see the placenta, one of the hormones, the human gonadotropin, again the most important hormone, as well as other hormones, of course, in addition to the TSH ila akhiri. Human placental lactogens 1 and 2, and also there is another hormone, placental variant growth hormone and prolactin. These hormones, as we said, gonadotropin, human placental lactogens 1 and 2, placental variant and prolactin, they play a role in the conversion of glucose to fatty acids and ketones, thus coordinating the fuel economy of feto-placental unit. The fetus and placenta use fatty acids and ketones as energy sources and store them as fuels in preparation for the early neonatal period. Also, the human placental hormones 1 and 2 promote development of maternal mammary gland during pregnancy. The same cells, they produce these hormones. But it seems that the pattern of secretion is different of these hormones, the above hormones. It means, or this indicates the possibility of control by different regulatory mechanisms. There are some indications that increased levels of human gonadotropin and thyroxine accompany maternal morning sickness. Profile of human gonadotropin, progesterone, total estrogen, and prolactin in the maternal blood. And you see the highest level of the human gonadotropin between week 10 and 15 of this day. Also, endometrium produces proteins, glycoproteins, peptides, and by the endometrial gland during pregnancy. And these are the substances, you see, hormones, proteins, enzymes, etc., produced by the endometrium during the pregnancy. Placental unit and steroidogenesis. This is the placenta in between, and this is the maternal compartment, and this is the fetus. You see, the female hormones are produced by the placenta, you see, but substrates comes mainly from the maternal compartment. You see, cholesterol, pregnenolone, and in the placenta, the pregnenolone produces progesterone. Then progesterone distributed into the fetus and also into the mother. You see, also estrogen and estradiol, the most potent female hormones or estrogens, These are also produced by the placenta, but the substrates come from the maternal compartment, dihydroepiandrosterone sulfate, and this substance also comes from the fetus. Then these two androgens are produced, androstenedione and testosterone, to produce the estrone and estradiol. Then these are distributed into the fetus and also into the maternal compartment. Also the placenta produces estriol. This is the third hormone of the estrogen. The normal level of